Intuitive Movement 101, the 18-week series. I hope that you've watched the first 6 videos that introduces you to Intuitive Movement 101, so you're familiar with the 6 levels of movement that we're going to be repeating over and over again, because we're going to go through Intuitive Movement 101 6 times by the time it's all said and done in the 18 weeks. But every time we go through it, we're going to focus on one of the 6 foundations of intuitive movement, of elementally intuitive movement. And the first foundation that we're focusing on is breath. And we begin with our level O. Level O, our hands are connected. And our hand position can be whatever hand position we prefer. It could even be connection of arms. But our body's connected. And we're getting familiar with our near sphere, the space that is between us and our hands. We're also getting familiar with following our hands, allowing ourselves to follow our hands. We're also getting familiar with foundation. As you can see, I'm on an uneven platform here, but this is what I have to work with, so I'm working with it. It makes it more challenging for me. I recommend that you start on an even surface. But since I do not have an even surface where I'm at the moment, then this is what I will work with. Adaptation is an important part as well of what we're practicing. Being aware of our bodies, our spheres, how much space we need to move freely within our spheres is very important. Adapting to changes, integrating it all together. And what takes us from one moment to another is our breath. Because without breathing, we cannot live. How we breathe is very important, because how we breathe communicates to our nervous systems whether or not we're safe and if we're in danger. Now, whether or not we're actually in danger, our bodies won't be able to determine. Maybe. Maybe, it depends. So we see, here's the thing. So when we're breathing through our noses, our nervous systems know that we're safe. We're getting oxygen. And because our nervous systems know that we're safe, and we're getting more efficient oxygen intake, as well as filtration through our nose, moisture, makes it easier for the breath to be taken in. And the slower breath that we get from the nose versus the mouth, because when you breathe through our mouth, it's very quick, versus our nose slows us down. And in slowing us down, we're able to get more oxygen out of that air. So breathing slowly is important. The more slowly we breathe, the more oxygen we get out. Also, the more slowly we exhale and more fully we exhale, the more carbon dioxide we get out. That's why practicing conscious breathing is important. So one of the things that we do as we're doing intuitive movement, elementally intuitive movement, regardless of whether we're working with implements or not, we're thinking about our breath. When we breathe through our mouths, our nervous system interprets that we're in danger. And when we're in danger, our body's resources are used in different ways. As our body's trying to protect us, it starts to store resources, store calories. Also, our muscles get tense as they're waiting. We start to look prospectively, we start to look for problems, because our bodies are trying to protect us. And in looking for problems, we have the tendency to find problems, because that's how perception works. We have the sense of having to validate and justify how we're feeling, and it's all going on in the subconscious. So we don't recognize, and often we get upset at other things or mad at other things, and then get in a space of self-righteous anger because something isn't the way that we want it to be. Expectations fail to be met. And then that helps us stay in this state of crisis where our resources aren't being very well used. And we're not thinking about our breathing. So one of the beautiful things is when we think about our breath and slowly, consciously inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose, our bodies recognize on a very fundamental level that we are safe. Because if we were in the wild and we were really in danger, we couldn't think to breathe. If we were really running for our lives, we can't think to breathe. We're just surviving. And when we're just surviving, we can't think to breathe. So to remind our bodies that we are more than just surviving, we're thriving, we're okay. Consciously inhale and exhale through the nostrils. By reminding our nervous systems that we're safe, more resources are directed to restoration, to rebuilding, towards staying healthy. And emotionally, we feel better because our protective systems aren't engaged. If our protective systems are engaged, we're more likely to feel anxiety, fear, anger, frustration, because we're in trauma mode, we're in danger mode. So we're looking for danger, we're gonna find danger. And it doesn't feel good to live in a state of danger all the time. But unless there's imminent physical danger right in front of us, in our sphere of effect, living in a state of threat does not benefit the system because it can't repair itself. And we want systems that repair themselves. And what's beautiful about the human body is that it is a self-repairing system. It's amazing at what it does when we support it. It doesn't do its job very well if we don't support it, especially if we tax it. So we can do our part by practicing shifting our perspectives, but on the very fundamental, simple level, we can do our part by just breathing. And that is today's level O.